Have you ever, maybe on a very lazy day when you've run out of things to overthink, ever thought about what a below average guy's wet dream could be? You probably haven't, but here it is anyway. Meri husband ki biwi. That is what the dream would be. It's not a movie that leaves a deep impact, and I'm about to tell you why the only feeling it left me with was the sense of frustration with the guy stuck between the two women. First of all, bold of me to assume you've watched this movie or that you want to watch this movie. But in case you do, this video gives you a heads up on what to expect. The story is about two attractive women fighting to win the affection of a guy who they wouldn't have gone on a second date with in real life. Arjun Kapoor is Ankur Chadda, who is a real estate agent or something. He sells property and he works in his dad's company. The movie starts by establishing Ankur as a man suffering from PTSD. He apparently had a very abusive wife who still appears in his nightmares much after divorce. His personal life is stuck in a limbo till a very beautiful woman flies into it in a paraglider. He immediately recognizes her from the tattoo placed precariously high on the back of her thigh. Quite a strange place to look at for a man who apparently has no interest in even a fling because of his emotional turmoil. Anyway, she's the hottie from his college days. Ankur, however, was never a hottie. Not then, not now. But somehow she falls for him and things are going well and he's almost overcome his PTSD till his ex wife comes back into his life via the very convenient route of retrograde amnesia or memory loss in simple terms. हुआ ये कि she got into a car crash and then she hit her head or something.
प्रबलीन जो है ना कुछ 5-6 साल की बातें भूल गई।
उसे लगता है मैंने उसे आज प्रपोज किया है, मैंने आज अंतरा को प्रपोज किया है।
Thus arises the core conflict of the movie. Will the man choose his former love or his new love? You could have actually started to think about it and considered it a legit mystery if it weren't for the overconfident troublemaker faces Bhumi Pednekar makes in the latter part of the trailer. You already know the man is going to choose his second love, but the story is going to prolong the route to the ultimate, very predictable destination. The most unbelievable part of the movie are the characters, and it's really difficult to empathize with any of them because none of the situations that they're stuck in happens to them by accident, except the car crash. Ankur, as I said, is a very mid guy with no raise. In a flashback, we are shown that in his college days, he was even less impressive, but Prablin takes a liking to him anyway. Their first interaction is at a party where she tricks him with a lie to win a bet. Now, this does not sound like a very big red flag or something to worry about until you start to consider what the lie was about. Possible sexual harassment, that too by who? A guy she calls a friend. Who talks shit like that about their friend? Then we see that she's the massive Chipku type who forces herself into Ankur's personal space without an invitation all the time. The kind of nonsense that would give a girl 100 reasons to worry about her safety is exactly the thing that wins Ankur's heart. Now, whose fault is that? It, of course, doesn't stop there. When Prablin goes back to her hometown for a couple of weeks, Ankur does this ridiculous out of character thing, which is propose marriage to her. He drives to her hometown first of all, then he proposes marriage to her in this fancy Bollywood style. The universe tries to save him from this dumb fuckery when Prablin rejects his proposal just for fun. But they end up getting married anyway because apparently telling her father that she does not even know the guy was a cute stunt she pulled because that is her character. Now it is extremely difficult to feel bad for a guy who digs his own grave like this. Ankur's biggest flaw, therefore, would be that he's stupid. And what happens to him next, his failed marriage, is not a sad turn of events. It is karma. Up next is Antara Khanna. She is out of his league and in all probability his rebound. She is beautiful, has a lot of interests like adventure sports, and her career is on track. The fact that she falls for him could have been a social experiment because really, what is attractive about a man who has no motivation? Literally every action he takes is a direct result of his friend pushing him into it. and we'll get to him later. Somewhere down the line, we are not told how she must have lost all sense of self worth. Okay, chalo, he seems like a good, harmless guy, but when he chooses to be around his ex, who he still, by the way, dreams of, to help her recuperate because, the accident and whatever, she cannot be reminded of what happened in her past life, and he has to pretend like everything is okay and normal till memory comes back to her by itself. Antara should have gotten the hint that the job she was applying for in his life was not yet vacant. Here, sometimes people stick around in dicey relationships out of curiosity, just to see how bad can it really get. But when you discover that the crazy ex is actually actively trying to sabotage your relationship with the clueless guy, you don't stick around and make a story out of the boy is mine song. You pack your bags and you get the hell out. Prablin. She scares me. I understand she's a loud, grey character, but did they really have to compound it with that crazy hair and makeup? God, I don't know what was the idea behind writing this character. She is insufferable.
वरना नाम की प्रबलीन टिल्लो नहीं मैं
Even when she's not trying to break up that Antara Ankur relationship. Funnily, the thing that was intended to make her look like a complete villain and oh my god, what a nightmare of a wife, is her only strength. Her drawback, according to the movie, was that she was very focused on her career, dedicated to a job with very long hours, and recognized an environment as toxic to raise a child. How is that a bad thing? Listen, if you went into the theater expecting Arjun Kapoor to give a May, okay, okay type performance, which will make you wonder how does he keep getting movie after movie, you are absolutely right. I can't say Arjun Kapoor is a terrible actor who does not know what to do on screen. He just seems to be stuck in this very narrow range of expressions and pitch, almost as if he is afraid to put in that extra effort and go boom, because he knows the sort of attention it will get him and he does not want to deal with that stardom. Bhumi Pednekar is a fine actress. She's doing the most among all. In fact, she was overdoing it in some scenes and she didn't need to. But then again, this is a Mudassar Aziz movie, and actors in his movies, maybe they're told to overdo it a little bit. The acting is not meant to be natural, I guess, because the actors are constantly pulling these I pulled a smart one faces, winking at the audience and doing all these sort of things at the camera. The sort of things that Gen Z makes fun of us millennials for. All those cringy bits are reserved for Bhumi's character somehow. Rakul Preet Singh is Jackie Bhagnani's wife, who is the son of Vashu Bhagnani, who produced this movie, so let's start at that. Her performance obviously pales next to Bhumi Pednekar, who I just said is overdoing it.
बटन जानती हूँ उसके दबाऊंगी टूट जाएगा नहीं तोड़ पाई तो
She looks the part, but she's not convincing as someone who's interested in Ankur, or someone who fears losing him, or someone who's genuinely angry that Prableen is trying to break up her relation with Ankur. Okay, the next guy is pretty important. Harsh Gujral plays Rehan, who is Ankur's best buddy.
मेरा दोस्त अंकुर चड्डा से डेंजर लंका हो जाएगा सर
I understand he is a professional stand up comedian, but yeah, that does not mean the writers should just pile his plate up with all the funny one liners. The movie is a comedy, and 80% of the comedy is delivered by this one guy. He is there in nearly all the scenes that have Arjun Kapoor distracting the audience from his mediocre performance with his punchlines. You can literally tell how crucial he is to Arjun's character from the poster itself. Why is he sitting on his back like that? Weird. Okay, Dino Moria is in the movie. He still acts. What a delight for a 90s kid to see him, but his acting skills are still the same. He seems very comfortable on screen. I don't think he was planning to give a Phodu performance. Just a casual Saturday walk into the studio, chill around a bit, say a few lines kind of a vibe. I like it. The most outstanding performance in the movie is by Hairspray. Because what is up with that floofy hair, the anti gravity hair, the spiky hair, the stiff hair? It's so absurd. Overall, it is an average movie with a theme so common that the actors themselves have worked in other movies, which is a different rendition of the same story. Even the plot twist is a very ancient, unimaginative trope where a key character loses memory of some very important event or information, like a divorce, just to create confusion. There are several plot movements which will leave you confused, like why did Ankur agree to help Prableen in her recovery journey when it required such a high level of involvement from him and he just proposed marriage to somebody else? Why did the second marriage have to take place in Scotland? And why is Ankur's toxic behavior in the first marriage being glossed over? And why is he holding his ex-wife's hand in the post-wedding picture with Antara? What is the message here? Sometimes I wonder, what do filmmakers think before signing off on script and the cast? It is a business, right? They have to make money. Isn't it obvious that a project is going to tank right from the start? Anyway, that's what I have to say about Meri Husband Ki Biwi. Does it matter if I ask you to watch it? Would you watch it? Come on. Daku Maharaj dekh lo. I want to cover that next.